into this facility?
So tell us your story. You were into cane, and heroin. Let's begin with the drugs. What pushed you into drugs?
After my sixth form education from Achimota Secondary School, due to peer pressure, half parenting, because I had lost my father then, I had to team up with friends just to put things together. And somewhere along the line, I fell victim to the use of drugs because I had a very close friend who was used to using heroin and cocaine. So for almost 18 to 19 years, I've been in a chain of drugs.
You have a wife, right?
Yeah.
And then how many children?
Two kids, girls.
Right. Before you got married, were you still into drugs?
Yes, I was into drugs before I got married.
And was your wife aware you were into drugs?
My wife is a novice. She doesn't know anything about that. My wife is such that from the very beginning, she was trying to be a bit inquisitive because I don't smoke outside. I don't use my drugs outside. I use it inside because I'm living in my own home. So
You have your own house?
yeah, I have my own place at Tesano. So I frequently visit the loo, the place of convenience, and she got to know that no, what is wrong? Every 2-3 hours I go there. Every 3-4 hours I go there. So it got to a time when my daughters were now wishing that they go with me. When they see me enter there, they start knocking. Daddy, 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 daddy.
Were they suspicious? Why the inquisitiveness? Is it as a result of the fact that your behavior generally within the house raised that suspicion?
Not as such, but I think they have the affinity to belong. So they feel they have to be with their father. So everywhere they see me go, they want to go. But purposely, one day I invited one of them with me in there, and she saw whatever I was doing.
What were you doing?
Actually, I was using heroin on the foil.
Now, why did you decide to take that child, then knowing very well that that wasn't the best?
I knew it wasn't the best to expose the child to that particular imagery, but I couldn't do anything about it because the child was crying vehemently to come to me. So I thought, since she was too small,
How old was she?
2 years, she can come in. She won't take record of anything. But as time went on, these two kids managed to know where I was keeping my paraphernalias, my bunker, my foil, my matches and things in the bathroom.
After you took the 2-year-old, did you continuously take the others along?
The others were forcing to come, so it came to a time they both go with me. We are all there. They sit on their chamber pots as if they are looing, but they are not. They just watching me. So I came from town one day. I entered the loo. I was looking for my bunker, what I use for the cocaine. I couldn't find it. Then I asked my wife who washed the loo this morning, and she told me to ask my daughters.
What gave you that courage to ask your wife? Because you hadn't introduced your wife to what you do. So why did you have to go and ask your wife?
I'm living in that apartment only with my wife.
I understand, but then that was the first time I'm sure you may have asked your wife about it. Weren't you a bit initially drawn back?
From the beginning, I had some kind of restraint asking her, but I felt we were already married and I was smoking cannabis normally. So she knew I smoke cannabis, but for that part she didn't know. But as now we were put together matrimonially, I think she should know me better. So I asked her, I've put something behind the loo, and now I didn't mention the name.
You said something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something. Then she told me that it was the thing is with my elder daughter, because she doesn't know what it is.
Okay.
Only she sees it like some metal thing with a pen. So I was just about to contact my daughter and ask for what she took there, and she brought it to me that mommy wanted to throw it away. So she's keeping it for me. She moved it from her panty and gave it to me. So from that very first day, I saw that it wasn't the best taking the children with me. Very bad. So I threw the bunker away and decided not to smoke in the house again. So I was still doing it privately. But I know the drugs are very expensive. So you need to get a great deal of money to buy.
How were you able to, I understand that you were a system administrator, IT specialist. Does it mean that you spent virtually everything you had on drugs?
Virtually everything. I sold my car, even I ended up selling the house.
You ended up selling the house? Your own house?
My father bequeathed to me an estate, 8-bedroom apartment at Tesano, the same locality. We have about 3 houses in the same locality, where I have a plot where I've built my personal thing. We sold the house.
No, let's go back. You had become so much addicted.
Yes.
To the point that you eventually decide to, sell a house that had been bequeathed to you.
To me.
How did it begin? I mean, how would you think of selling a house that had been bequeathed to you?
The problem was, I couldn't conceive myself going to steal. It was a problem for me. So I was thinking of a simpler way of getting money, just to keep myself always neat, gentle, as people know me to be some time back. So I went into documents. I took a testamentary copy of my father's will, went to the court, put in application for probate, had access to everything, and now I sold the house.
You sold the house?
Yeah, I made an
when was that? When did you sell the house?
91.
1990. How much did you sell the house?
About
8-bedroom, right?
8-bedroom apartment.
How much did you sell?
About 10 to 12 billion.
10 to 12 billion.
Yeah.
Old Ghana cedis.
Old Ghana cedis.
I want us to go back. I just want to get a picture once again.
Yeah.
10 to 12 billion old Ghana cedis in 1991 was a lot of money.
Yes.
When you were you given the whole cash?
I wasn't giving the money all per cash. I diversified the money into other ventures like educational policy, insurance for my daughters. Almost half was for my personal leisure.
Half of the about
the 10 to 12
billion
was for my leisure and home
personal leisure.
Yeah, and for home activities.
Okay.
Apart from that, the other part went into education, insurance policy for the children.
So that is positive. Now let's come to the leisure part. You had almost about 6 billion old Ghana cedis in 1991.
Yeah.
How did you use that money?
I'm an addict with a high intake.
What do you mean high intake?
Which means I consume more stuff. I need to buy grams. I don't buy pinches, boosters, no. I buy enough so that I stay away from the ghetto for some time because of police rampant chasing and those things.
Yeah, so at a go, how much were you able to, buy at a go? I just want to have an idea.
At a go, a gram of cocaine, as at that time, was almost about 800,000 to 850.
Which was a lot of money
then. As at then. So I buy 2 grams cocaine and I buy 1 gram of heroin. Heroin was very cheap. Was selling around 400, 500.
Did you mix it?
I don't mix it. The cocaine is a tranquilizer and heroin is a sedative. So when I tranquil, which means it speeds the rate of reaction, but the heroin will sedate me to slow me down. So definitely after I use the cocaine, I have to sedate myself with the heroin just to be normal.
How long did that continue? Sedating you, how do you put it? Highing you, sedating you?
The euphoria.
Exactly.
That's what you want, the feeling.
So how long did that continue?
It depends on your intake. And with that consignment, it takes me a whole day. The next morning I have to get the same thing.
The same thing.
The next morning I have to get the same thing.
And then, many people wonder why you would spend a lot of money Just for you know, just to increase. I want the term.
The euphoria.
The euphoria.
Yeah.
For what? Euphoria for what?
You see, there is one thing related to drug addiction. You feel very different because of the kind of secrecy in which you use your paraphernalias, you use the kind of environment you hide yourself. You see yourself a bit different. So that was.
And did your wife at a point realize that it was becoming unbecoming? You had sold the house, but before that, did your house, you know, query your sale of the house?
My family, that's my siblings, really, because the house didn't belong to me alone. The house was something bequeathed from my father to the children. We are 5 in number. I lost one.
You decided.
I made an affidavit that they are mandating me to transact.
Which was a lie.
Fake paper.
So what happened when they realized that
after
gone behind them?
Things had already gone bad.
What did they do?
Everybody, you know, the pressure, the stress, the disappointments, the expressions on their faces.
Did you feel any, you know, sign of remorse?
Really, I felt like I shouldn't have done that, but because of
did they threaten you? Some of your brothers?
Course, even with the police, to the extent that we had to go back to the buyer and try, but they had transferred all the documents and everything already. So, in fact, I've really been a problem to my mother because half parent taking care of a drug addict is not easy.
Is your mother alive?
My mother is alive. She's 82 now.
She comes to visit.
Yeah,
you.
she comes to visit.
Now let's revisit your life. A system administrator.
Yeah.
You have what it takes, you know, to be economically and financially independent.
Of course.
But because of drugs,
yes,
you find yourself in prison.
Yes.
Casting your mind back.
Yeah.
How has your life been like?
When I look back to my drug days and I compare it to today, I feel I'm better off. I'm at peace.
Good. Before we look at how peaceful you have become, let's go back to the courts.
Yeah.
When you were eventually taken to court, what happened over there?
We went to court. They read the statement of offense. They asked me guilty or not guilty. All that time I was in the mood of techie.
What's the meaning of mood of techie?
The techie is the withdrawal symptoms. When you don't get the drug, there are some kind of feelings that you have. You feel very cold even when the sun is very hot.
Really?
Yeah.
You have spent all the money.
Everything is finished. I've sold my TV. I've sold my everything in the hall was gone.
No, take your time. After selling the house,
yeah,
you came back to sell your television.
Yes. Because I wasn't living in the house that I sold. I was living in a different apartment which belongs to me. That the one I sold was my father's property.
So what happened to your personal apartment that you put up yourself?
That's where presently my wife and children are living in. But I sold almost all the decorative things that made the place, that made the place look like a home.
When you started selling the television, the cooking utensils, and so on and so forth, how did your wife feel?
My wife always had a different thought, but I have stories that made her take whatever excuse.
She believed you?
Yes. Because the TV can be on and in a way I can make it go off. Maybe even with the remote. And I'll query, and then what is happening? TV ni fault about no, china me the kwa my me tis a gas scent be why I'm cylinder no fault about. When it goes, it never comes. When it goes, it never comes. When it goes, it never comes. Until everything. So she realized that no.
Something amiss.
What is happening? So I had to just sit her down one day and tell her everything.
The unfolding drama. What happened that day?
So still in my techish mood, they called, they read statement of offense and everything, and they asked me whether I was guilty or not guilty. I just pleaded guilty.
When was that?
That was 11th of June last year. So I thought when you plead guilty, they will come to amicable settlement with you and you go home.
No, but you are highly educated. What made you think so? Because you tell a judge that you are guilty. It makes the work of the judge easy.
It makes the work of the judge very easy. After pleading guilty, I gave an explanation of my drug background.
When you were told, Kweku Gardner, you've been sentenced to how many years?
2 years imprisonment.
2 years in prison. Was your wife in court?
My wife was not in court, but my mom was there, my sisters were also there.
How did you feel?
Very aggrieved.
Very aggrieved?
Yeah.
With yourself?
With myself, yes.
Did you cry?
I didn't actually cry, but tears came. Because I've been a thorn in the flesh of my parents, and even in the society, the locality I live in. And to that extent, myself. Because the use of the drug changes your physique, loss of weight, your features will change, and you look shabby, and a whole lot
Did you look shabby? Were people around your locality
now
aware that you had deteriorated?
No, the only part they saw was I used to be fat like this, but I was losing weight. All what I was doing to get my money was within and on the net fraud.
Let's quickly go to fraud. The drugs took a greater toll of your life.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to also go into internet fraud?
Because of I needed enough money to pay for the drugs that I am craving for. So I started through a friend by browsing. And I saw that people were making money on the net.
Nationality of that friend?
Yeah.
What's the nationality of that
He's
friend?
a Ghanaian.
Okay.
Ghanaian friend. People are making money. And he taught me how to hack accounts and all those things. So it was through these same processes that I fell victim to.
Were you successful when you started the hacking? Hacking.
I've been successful and on a number of occasions.
Can you tell us how much money did you get at a point from hacking other people's accounts?
It depends on the value in the account. And
can you give us an instance?
I wouldn't call the company's name, but I've made about 15 to 20 billion from a top company in Ghana, brewery.
15 to 20 billion. Old Ghana cities.
Old Ghana cities.
Are you sure of what you are talking about?
I'm telling you reality.
No. What did you use? How did it come about? And what did you use that money for?
I am telling you, all I use. I don't like. I'm not the type that I keep running after women, but I have my wife. I'm content with that.
So you are not into womanizing?
No, not at all.
Now, 15 to 20 billion. What did you use the money for?
I make my property, my house, fix it, things up there, made some small marketing thing for my wife because she's a caterer. So
and you loved your wife too.
I loved my wife too with my daughters. So that I wanted always any money I make sure something goes there because I had a thought that this drug could just cut me off one day. What are these people going to live on?
Was your wife aware you were into internet fraud?
Yeah, my wife did know.
What
because
advice did she give you?
She on several occasions asked me to stop because she sees me going to work, but I come home with an amount of money she doesn't expect. Nobody takes that money at the end of the month. And I'm saying, when you may be able to bekasa, share. Jiwe koma mama ji cotton to maji koyewe. It was
but she didn't suspect that maybe you were into armed robbery. Or
no, because I wasn't going out at night. I don't leave home. I'm always in the house. Between working hours, I'm out of the house. That's at least between 8:30 to 5:36.
So it was not through the drugs that brought you to prison, but
the fraud.
Internet fraud.
Fraud.
What was the last straw that broke the camel's back?
I got to a level of fraud to the extent that even I can come to your house and mount an AMA signboard in your house that it's a location for community hospital. government located area for community hospital. So which means you have encroached on government's land.
You've encroached on government land.
Yes, so then you have to consult town and country planning. I'll give you complimentary card because I'm a graphics designer myself, but with my number. So whenever you think you are consulting town and country planning, you are consulting me. So I'll negotiate with you on basis of what? Amicable settlement, so that we change the location. That will force you to make a commitment. When it was based on that I was brought here.
I don't know. This is a serious matter, but you are making me laugh at a point, because I'm laughing sorrowfully, because I wonder how you were able to, you know, where that bravery came from.
All is based on my academic excellence, you see. I'm sharp and I'm smart.
You're one of the brightest students at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in
yes,
those days.
Those days, and of Achimota to hail me. So
right now, what event, what took you to the courts? What crime eventually took you?
Fraud. I had a friend whom I deal with, and because of inconsistency of sharing the money, he turned out to be a third person and gave information out that it's a lie, it's not true. Most fraudsters have links at the banks. So I don't even enter the banking hall.
When you say that most fraudsters have links at the banks, what do you exactly mean? Are you trying to say that some of the workers in there are complicit in some of these activities? Really.
How
are you able to engage them?
I motivate you with money. I come, I open an account there, I deposit something small, 2,000, 3,000 there, and I tell you, oh, in the next 2-3 weeks, some 600 or 700 will be coming. So try and clear that money. I want to. When you do that, I give you a percentage. Now, my third meeting with you, I'll sit down and let you know what is going on. I'm a fraudster. This is what I do. So any money that comes through that account, 10% is yours.
Wow.
So you clear the money. I come. If it's ready, you give me a call. I come and sit in my car. You bring the money out. So I give you your percentage.
There are always accomplices,
you
know, within
the bank. Yes, the bank
itself. Some of these fraudulent activities.
Yes.
So back to the story. What amount of money were you supposed to give to the friend?
Okay, we shared 50. Is it? No, 500 million is now what?
50,000.
50,000 Ghana. We were supposed to share 50,000 Ghana, and I gave him 10, and he said it was too small. I wanted even to give him 8 because I didn't do anything. His is just to bring the customer, just get a location, a nice place, come and call me, go and look at the place, see that no, this place is good for the work. Then I start my work. I'll come in overall like this AMA demolition crew. I have guys I go with. We come, we paste those AMA stickers there. And you pass through the process. Everything is correct.
Did he personally report you?
He actually motivated the owner of the property under discussion. He went with him to the police station to report the case.
You were arrested?
And I was arrested.
How was it like? You were in the house?
I was at home one day just taking my last straw of heroin.
And of course that was going to be your last straw.
My last.
That was your last straw.
And it is my last too, by the grace of God.
Right. There are many youth out there engaged in drugs, engaged in internet fraud.
Yes.
But usually, the notion out there is that most of these internet fraudsters also seek the services of malams, spiritual help. Did you seek the support of any malam?
No.
Or is it true that seeking spiritual help aid in the exercise?
It is true. Some do that.
You did that?
I never did that because I have so many ways to get you convinced. I throw proposals on the site and it will catch people's attention.
What advice would you give to many out there, especially the youth who claim there is no job? So engaging in internet fraud holds the key to their success.
Fraud is not a resort or a relief from poverty. No, it will never end you nowhere than end you wearing the same uniform as I wear here. I want to take this opportunity to address our parents to have an equivocal relationship with their children. Keep eyes on them, because there are instances where your child goes out most often in the night, comes late and things drunk. The parents don't care. All these things are the beginning of going wayward. So I want to address the youth that crime doesn't pay in general, and drug addiction is a chain you would find very hard to break. Sister Sarah, Mrs. Sarah Gardner, and my two kids, Daniela and Princess, I want to take this opportunity to render a formal apology for misconducting myself as a father over all the past years. This time, it would never happen again.
Thank you very much, Roger.
Thank you.